Electricians, let's continue talking about Article 210.52. In last video, I explained this code in detail. This is the 6-foot, 12-foot rule. Like I said, many electricians know this code, but when it comes to the licensing exam, they'll get the question wrong. So why is that? I wanted to take the time and explain that to you. The best way I know how is by giving you a licensing exam question example. It says, what is the minimum number of receptacles required for this bedroom? They give you a picture. Just like the licensing exam, you will have a question just like this. And many electricians can come up with a correct answer, a code-compliant response, but let's remember the question specifically says the minimum number of receptacles required. The minimum number. How do you calculate that? And I was taught the incorrect way to do it in trade school, and I fear many electricians are taught the incorrect way. So what I was taught in trade school is you take the footage of the room, so 13 plus 21 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 21 plus 1. You add them together, and that gives you 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 5, 6, 62 feet in total. So I was taught, take the footage and divide it by 12. So what's 62? 62 divided by 12 gives me 5.167. There's no such thing as 0.167 of a receptacle, so they round down, and 5 is the correct answer. That's what I was taught how to do. Some people might round up, some people might round down, and I really do believe occasionally you will get the correct answer if you do this method. But again, on your licensing exam, they might give you a difficult question where this isn't going to be the correct answer. So this is the way I teach it, and I highly recommend. It might take a little bit more time, but I highly recommend that this be the method in which you do this. So I take a picture like this and I divide it, I split it up into the amount of wall spaces we have. So I'm going to write wall space 1, which is, I'm going to start on the left of that door where it says 13 feet, okay? A wall space, by code standards, is any space 2 feet or more in width, including spaces around corners. So I'm going to take that 13, around the corner is a 21 foot, around the corner is a 2 foot. That's one wall space in my opinion. Actually, it's not an opinion, it's a fact based on the definition the code gives us. So 13 plus 21 is, what is that? 34 plus 2 is 36. So my wall space 1 is in total 36 feet. Now, the code says, this is the 6-foot, 12-foot rule, that any point on the floor line of any wall space shall be within 6 feet, okay? So I'm going to start on the left side of that door, and I'm going to subtract 6, and that's where I'm going to install my first receptacle, okay? And that gives me 30 feet. And like I explained in the last video, the maximum distance between receptacles is 12 feet. So here's my first receptacle. In between receptacles is 12, and that's where I'm going to install my second receptacle. The remaining feet is 18 feet. Same thing, I'm going to subtract 12, giving me 6 feet remaining, and that's my third receptacle there. Okay, again, I have 6 feet remaining of wall space. If I go to the end of that wall space and point to it, I should be able to say that's within 6 feet of a receptacle, therefore this 6 feet is code compliant. So I know for my first wall space 1 that 3 receptacles is the amount of receptacles required for that wall space. Okay, moving on to the second wall space. That fixed glass panel is a wall space. I'm going to write wall space 2, and it's a total of 2 feet, okay? Why is that a wall space, okay? Again, going to the definition of what a wall space is, any space 2 feet or more in width is considered a wall space. That wall space, the definition of a wall space includes the space occupied by fixed panels. It says a fixed glass panel. You can't install a receptacle in glass, but you can install a floor receptacle 18 inches from that glass. So regardless, it's a wall space. And again, any point along the floor line of any wall space must be within 6 feet of a receptacle. I need at least one receptacle on that wall space, okay? Now, let's go to wall space 3, which should be the remaining wall space here. So there's a 2 foot plus 21 gives me 23, plus 1 is 24 feet. Did I do that right? 21, 22, 23, 24. 24 feet, same exact thing. I'm going to subtract 6 and install my first receptacle, and that gives me 18 feet remaining. I'm going to subtract 12 in between receptacles, right? That gives me 6 feet remaining. And again, this is code compliant because it's within 6 feet of a receptacle. So that gives me 2. So the correct answer is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The minimum number of receptacles required for this bedroom is B, 6 Final answer, end of story. 5 is the incorrect answer. Now, some of you might have rounded up to 6, and you might say, see, that's the right way to do it. But again, I promise you, there's going to be licensing exam, journeyman, and master's level questions that are way more difficult than this, and that method is going to give you the incorrect answer. Sometimes it will give you the correct answer, but in this case, it's going to give you the wrong answer. So this, in my opinion, is the safest way to do it. And again, like I said, I'm teaching, and it took me this long. How long is this video? I don't even know right now. It shouldn't be that long, but I promise you, it's going to be so much quicker during the licensing exam. You're not teaching it. You know how to do it. You can probably do it off the top of your head. Guys, I promise you, you're going to be able to get the answer with confidence, 100% right. There's many electricians that take their exam and fail by one question. Don't let this be the question you get incorrect and cause you to fail. Every question matters. Do it the right way. And yeah, so that's just an example of why that method doesn't work. In the next video, I'll try to do a more difficult question and prove to you that this is the best method to do the 6-foot, 12-foot rule for your licensing exam. Thanks.